welcome to Professional Questers. I'm Chris, and I love tabletop role playing games. Even more than that, though, I love hearing about the characters in those games. So I decided to interview people in the TTRPG world about the people that they love to play. With us today is Tiffany Lou Viprinsky. Tiffany, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and who you play?
Hello, my name is Tiffany. I am from the podcast Stories Told Again, and I play a human paladin named Liv.
Awesome. Now, what we usually do here is we start with the basics. So,
Okay.
what is their class and level?
Right now how far how far along have things been released? Um
Uh,
Level 2 or perhaps 3. Don't kill me
at
if I'm
time of
wrong.
recording.
At time of record. uh yeah, around less than 5, more than 1.
That's good. That's a good
Yes.
one. Um, what are their
And
pronouns, by the way?
pronouns are she, her. And
Okay.
class paladin, oathbreaker paladin.
Ooh,
It's story related.
yeah. Me having listened to the podcast, I'm like, I kind of know what's going on, but like, I don't know anything at all because it's still so early in the game.
Yes, yes.
Um, can you give us a physical description of Liv?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. Well, Liv is a human paladin, around 5 feet and some inches that I can't recall what the actual number is. Sorry again. Except that I remember people said, everyone else was like, that's short. And I went, no, it is a perfectly average. So it's somewhere in that range, whatever your definition of height is. And she typically wears sort of like beat up plate armor that's been repaired many, many times. Her eyes are yellow and her hair is blue, but I think the most distinctive feature she has is a glowing, sort of broken circle mark on her forehead that is the mark of an oathbreaker.
Ooh. Actually, that was one of the things when I first heard that description in the actual play. I was like, that is really cool. And I'm excited to hear how that plays into what's to come. I don't know, like, I know obviously it means oathbreaker, but what what oath? Gotta
Yeah,
listen and find
where?
out. Gotta
How?
listen and
I
find
just gonna have to find out.
out. If you had to describe their personality in 3 words, what would those words be?
Ooh, very survival focused.
Yep, I can see that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
survival comes first. Nothing else matters.
So would you say that's kind of the thing that drives Liv at this point?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You gotta, cause she's constantly on the run. Things are constantly attacking. There's a weird demon following her. She's gotta look out for number one. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So is there anything then that she truly deeply fears that also kind of plays into her motivations?
Okay, so I think because the whole survival angle is truly the first thing that's on her mind, I think what she's also afraid of beyond that is dying alone and unloved, right?
Oh God,
Because it's so
isn't that
hard.
that is such a real fear,
Yeah.
and it very much touches on real life things. And what are your thoughts on like bringing real world fears into a D&D game?
Well, I think there's no way around it. We're all human, right? We all are afraid of different things, and you can't help no matter how you try. Like you're going to come in with some sort of impression of what even fear is, of what other people are afraid of, what you want your character to be afraid of. It can't come from a place of falsities. Um it can, yeah, it's just I don't think it's possible actually to, even if your character is like, I am so strong, I'm edgy, and my wife and kids are dead, but I'm so strong. No, you're afraid of that happening again, right? There,
Mhm.
there's just no way around it.
They're kind of like intrinsically intertwined
Yes,
in like
yes,
fears, hopes, desires. They permeate everything, even fiction.
definitely. There's always an influence from the real life. Like I that's sort of what a role playing game sort of is, right? It's a space for you to sort of just explore that even a little bit, maybe unconsciously.
Mhm. Mhm. And then when they become conscious, you're like, oh, oh."
It's always a feeling when like another player or your DM will be like, huh, we'll be like, your character is awfully uh afraid of commitment, aren't they? And you go, oh wait. It's like a
I feel
reflection
so
back on the player
attacked.
sometimes. Yeah.
Do they have any like quirks or mannerisms that you like, something you designed them with, or even something that developed more naturally as you played her?
Something I think I actively tried to play up is that little bit of like naive mindset about things, because as jaded as I think she is about people's intentions, I think there are a lot of things she just doesn't understand at this point that the episodes have been released at.
Mhm.
And I think I've tried to play up this sort of like, what is normal here? That should be that's probably normal, right? Sort of, and it'll it's a good way for other people to dupe her, which I think is a fun thing that happens.
And that'll play into another question I have later. But for now, what would you say that her flaws are?
Mm, gosh, there are too many to list. Okay, maybe, yeah, that distrust is pretty hard to get over. Um, it's understandable, but at the same time, it's like, chill, bro. Just like calm down, man. It's not that hard. These people are nice. Just stop. Yeah, I think that's the biggest one.
That is definitely. I've tried to play characters that have like trust issues and stuff, and I
Hmm.
my brain is just not wired for that. So I usually end up like starting to trust people like really fast, and I'm like, oh well, that's not what I had planned for this character, but we'll see
No, I
where that
believe in
goes.
you. I believe you can think the whole world is your enemy if you try hard enough.
It's such a like balance that you have to play of like how do you get them to be distrusting but also willing to go along with the party and not
That's
just
yeah.
like distrust them so much that you have no like faith in them and just like wander off.
Hmm.
It's the whole like lone wolf dilemma I think that
Yeah.
people find in D&D where there's that player who like plays the lone wolf and like
Oh yeah.
often associated with, the edge lord kind of
Yeah.
personality. And then they end up having trouble connecting with the group and like you wonder why. It's like you don't
Hmm.
trust us, you don't interact with us. So it finding that balance of like how to play this kind of character while still showing interest
Hmm.
in what your character would show interest in. I think from what I've listened to of what's well rather from what's been released because I've listened to all of what's been released so far.
What's been
Um
released? Yes.
yes. I think Liv does a really good job of finding what's in this new situation that would keep her invested.
Hmm.
I think I think you and Liv do a really good job of that.
I know I definitely tried to. like think it through more because dude, I know, people come in being like, if I can't stand people, they suck, nobody can be trusted, the types of like the weirdos in the group. But I think what I tried to do is I trust the people in our party, but I don't
Mhm.
trust anything else. And I think
Mm,
that helps with making someone who seems very distrustful while still allowing them to build relationships with the people around them and get up to shenanigans with them and go along for the ride.
absolutely. I think that's a great approach. So I know you guys are ahead in terms of recording versus, what's been
Yeah.
released. So I will say as of recording, you guys just had your first downtime episode.
Mhm.
Um and there's a new episode going up tomorrow, but that's tomorrow.
That's true.
Um what is Liv's story? Like what do we know so far for the listeners who haven't heard the actual play yet?
Okay, so far, um well, Liv has come from a very dangerous city where everyone's kind of trying to kill her. But she like got out randomly, magically, somehow, no idea how, and got teleported to a town where everyone else is also in the town. And there's a festival, but the festival was broken. And then we found out who stopped the festival. And then what else happened? And then I think we find out a little bit more about everyone else's backstories and where things are coming from. We find out about like the big factions at play in the world, like politically. And so I think the last episode that we've released is kind of figuring out, it's sort of, first of all, calming down from the fact that some of us have lost people that they cared about already.
Hmm.
And so it's like a time for everyone to sit with themselves, sit with each other, and sort of discuss, like, hi, how are you? I know we met in the middle of combat, but what's up, my guy? So I think that's where we're at. The next episode, I think, picks up on some stuff.
Oh, I am intrigued.
Yeah, we're still a little bit early on.
Yeah. So if you're new to the actual play, which is called Stories Told Again, you have a wonderful opportunity to binge it because they're still in early game. So that's what I did. I binged it and I was hooked.
Thank you so much.
So behind like the concept and inspiration of Live, like the show that you play on is called Stories Told Again. Does that mean that you've played Live before?
That's a good question. I cannot say anything about this question, but all I
Really?
can say is that keep listening and find out.
Interesting. That is not what I was expecting. Okay, so
I've
it
been
comes
told
into
not to say anything and to be coy, but I'm not very good at being coy, so I'm just gonna go, just keep listening, because otherwise I'll say something.
okay, we will keep that one under wraps and you know what? I'll leave that in the episode. Get people to
Yeah,
listen.
played it off.
Have you ever played a paladin before Live?
No, actually, I'm actually not that familiar with TTRPGs in general. I've been playing for like a year, and this is my second big game, I think. Like I've done
Okay.
some of the like little one shots and whatnot, but the only other game I've played was with our DM in my previous workplace with him, and this one. So previously I played a bard, and this is my first time playing a paladin.
Awesome. So, what made you want to play a paladin?
Well, I think when we were getting the party together, there were ideas being thrown about like what other people wanted to play, and I went, I'll just fill whatever role we need. I'll just do whatever. But I was like, okay, I do know one thing. I don't want to play a spellcaster. I want to try some sort of martial class, maybe. just because it's
Mhm.
new to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah. And so once everyone had chosen their like what classes they wanted to be, what sort of things, I went, okay, I'll be a paladin. And I had like narrative ideas about what kind of a person. So,
Okay, cool. So
mhm.
did your ideas behind the person you wanted to play kind of paint the choices you made going forward with like her subclass or her, story beats kind of
Definitely.
stuff?
Oh yeah. Again, that oathbreaker paladin from birth. And very peculiar reasons why that is. So definitely they were all like narratively informed.
What does being an oath breaker mean to you, both as a person and a player? Like, what made you want to explore that in particular?
Um okay. So again, I was kind of new to D&D. So I was reading through like the list of paladin oaths and I was reading them and I went, ugh, I don't want to play nerds who follow rules. I was like, I don't want to. These are such goody two shoes little oaths, and then I have to follow that for the entire game. Boo! And I think an idea started to come from that about oaths, what they mean, what they frequently end up turning into for actions, like moral choices that you make. And so I went with an idea that I think is intriguing.
I'm starting to realize there's so many secrets in this episode that we can't talk about, and I'm like, this will be the episode full of you'll just have to listen to the show.
And hopefully there'll be a lot more episodes out since this.
Yeah. Is there a difference between how they were intended, like how Liv was intended at creation versus how she ended up being once you started playing her?
Yeah, yeah, there's a pretty big difference. I don't know. I feel like uh when I was starting to make level 1 live, I had a very specific idea, but I sort of moved away from that gradually as, because you interact with the other players, you interact with the world, and you start to see like you start to form a character, you know?
Mhm.
And I feel like it's kind of nicer to just come in with like a very malleable idea. I know like certain people have like, yeah, I know exactly their character. I'm gonna play them exactly like that. But I feel like I don't work quite as well in that mindset. So it definitely took some time to like evolve.
Fair, fair. So were there different iterations that you went through before landing on like a final version?
Less so iterations, more like each episode that we had recorded was like little building blocks into a bigger picture, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's one of those things I get that a lot with people of like it it takes a couple sessions to really like find your footing in a way, not
Yeah.
necessarily like a lot of times people will use this the whole find your footing analogy in like getting used to the system or whatever, but like finding your footing also means finding who your character is, finding who
Hmm.
you are as you play your character. It's all of that stuff.
Yeah, definitely, especially because I think we were kind of just strangers going into our first recording session is what I remember. So it definitely like took a little bit of time to get to know like even the people, and I think knowing the people really influences how you play your characters.
For sure, for sure. I am in a campaign right now that started as literally like five strangers.
Hmm.
I knew the DM and that was it.
Yeah.
And 6 years later, we're like, yep, this is us.
Yeah, and you really like start to find the dynamics.
You do, you do. It's um it's a journey for sure. And sometimes like I have a character that I just recently started playing and I have found her a lot faster than I found some of my other characters, but I think for me at least, I can see how my journey through playing TTRPGs and my personal growth as well has affected the kind of people that I play and how quickly I can get a handle on who I'm playing, why I'm playing them, that sort of
Mhm.
thing. Like a character that I would have chosen to play 5 years ago and could instantly get in their head. Now, if I tried to play the same character, I'd be like, okay, it's going to take me a while to get back into that headspace kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. I think that's great. That's great. Cuz you know what that means? That means you've grown, right? It means you've changed a little
Hmm.
bit. You've gotten you're just a little bit different now. And isn't
A little
that
bit, a
great?
lot of bit, you know.
Yeah.
There's definitely been a lot of personal growth over the last however many years. So I do enjoy seeing how personal growth affects character choices and vice versa.
Mhm.
Because I mean, let's not beat around the bush. Character choices can contribute to personal endeavors and growth and choices. And that's um, a major element of character bleed, although character bleed is often associated in a more like negative kind of light. But I think character bleed can also be a positive thing. There
Hmm.
is also, I think, a beneficial element to character bleed where you explore and internalize what they're going through to
Mhm.
help you explore yourself. And you explore yourself to internalize how you want to see them grow.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's really I don't think it's possible to separate yourself from characters, from art in general. Like if you write any
Hmm.
character, a part of yourself is going to be in those characters. Or if you draw
Oh,
something, a part of
absolutely.
you is going to be in that. There's no way
Hmm.
around it, no matter how hard you try, I think. And it's just that balance, like you said, right? Of not letting it affect things too negatively in both
Hmm.
directions, right?
Absolutely. Was there anything about Live that you had planned initially but you weren't able to incorporate?
I don't think so. I'm pretty light on the pre-preparation personally. Just because I think there are too many factors and uh I would rather like roll with the go with the flow, roll with the hit, whatever. Just go with whatever's happening, rather
Hmm.
than like overly planning something that may not work out because of I don't know time. Maybe your elaborate backstory is just too long, and it's like, and you take away space from the other players, or maybe like this just no longer makes that much sense considering the events of the story. So, yeah, I don't typically plan too far ahead.
I think that's a very legitimate approach, especially because you said, sometimes it takes away space from the other players. I I find it very interesting to see as I interview people how they all have varying approaches to creating stories for their characters while still giving everyone else space. Like, there are some people who will link their backstories with other PCs or with an NPC. Personally, I am in a Call of the Netherdeep game right now, and my character, she has like a light backstory, but actually it's pretty
Yeah.
deep because I gave the GM like free reign to like give her like flashbacks to things that I
Mhm.
have no idea what is going on.
Yeah, I
So,
think that's fun.
it's a way to give, like, on the surface it gives the other players a lot of space because we've basically addressed the surface of her um backstory, her motivations, and then there's, these little crumbs that get fed to me through the story at the DM's discretion
Mhm.
so that they can balance what's going on with everyone else. And I really like that
Yeah.
uh that's going on with that, but also it's just fascinating to hear all the different approaches that people have
Hmm.
to balancing player interaction and player involvement without kind of hogging the limelight.
Hmm. Yeah, I know some people like to like have like 20 pages of lore, and I think that is very impressive. But I personally would prefer like because I feel like TTRPGs in general are such a collaborative storytelling sort of medium.
Mhm.
It feels to me at least like if I had created a character with too much detail, it would start to impede on like what my DM wants his world to be. Because what if I have like this village where they burn trees and the DM's like, oh, actually, my entire world is made of water, you know? Then things don't mesh that well.
It's when you begin to work with the DM and the other players and stuff. So that's a whole other discussion, but
Right.
yeah, yeah. But I think that is very valid of like you don't want to force details that might derail things
Hmm.
onto anyone. And that's very respectable.
Teach their own, though, you know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I have a friend who does write like 32-page backstories, but it's in a way that I think doesn't overrun what the DM has planned
Yeah,
with what they wrote. So there are ways to pull it off,
for
absolutely.
sure. I just think that
Mhm.
I suck at at that. So I just don't want to step on people's toes.
No, man, that's fine. So a friend of mine actually suggested this question because she said summon steed is described by her as like the paladin spell. Um, does Liv? I know you're still pretty low level, so
Hmm.
I don't think she has a steed yet. Am I right?
Yeah, she does not. Um,
Okay. If she like when she gets one eventually, 'cause let's fingers crossed she'll get one. Um, how like what would it look like? How would it appear?
okay, Um, here's the thing though. I had intentionally nerfed myself so that Liv can't use any magic except for divine smite.
Wow.
um, so unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to take Summon Steed, especially with some future potentially multi-classing things that I might be doing. And
Ooh.
but I will give this hypothetical a go because I think it's funny if her Summon Steed was just Kesper, her demon companion slash vague stalker slash helping hand throughout her whole life. But also, this is
I
really
love that.
difficult. This is really difficult for me personally because I don't I don't like animals and I don't know how to describe animals. So if I were to say something, I'd be like, well, it would be something that you could ride, I guess.
That's okay. I I think okay. Question then.
Yeah.
Would it be Casper like in his regular form, or would it be Casper like shapeshifted into something?
Okay. That's funny. That's funny if it were Kesper in regular form, but I think probably shapeshifted would be better.
Now I'm just imagining Liv like piggybacking on Casper
Fan art?
in her
Fan
plate
art?
armor. Fan art! Fan artists, get on it. So I do actually really like Casper as an answer because one of my follow-ups to this original question was like, would it reflect her in any way, like her personality, her psyche, maybe trauma or desires? And I love that you went with something that is so intrinsically linked with Liv because even as far as I have gotten, or as far as you have released in the story, it's really obvious that Casper is like intertwined very tightly with Liv's life and Liv's story. So as we find out more about Casper and more about Liv, I think it'll be really interesting to see how that reveals why Casper would hypothetically be Liv's steed.
Yes, all I can say is episode 17. Wait for it. It
Ooh,
is the episode
okay.
where we have our first guest star.
Oh,
And you will be excited to watch it for specifically this or listen.
good. Good. Watch, listen. It's one of those five senses.
Yeah, one of them.
As Liv makes her way through the world outside of Optimus, experiencing a lot of things for the first time, do you find yourself thinking in new ways about the things that like we might take for granted in our world or our lives? Because obviously she has only known, hardship and like one place her whole life. So how does that influence the way that you think and interpret uh, and experience your thought process, seeing things through like a new lens or
Hmm. Oh, this is really interesting. Yeah, her perspective has been so limited before the events of the campaign, I think. And I feel like every single day really she's sort of learning new things about how prosperous the outside world seems to be. Like resources just seem to be everywhere and it seems like people can afford things, which is bizarre to her. Or the fact that there are non-human folk running around everywhere and nobody bats an eye, and the reputations of certain races being different, and the lack of religion in certain places is very very different for her. And yeah, I feel like everything is really just brand new, you know.
seeing it all through wide eyes.
Yeah.
So the last question in this section with you, Tiffany, I ask this of all of my guests. What advice would you give to Liv?
I think I said this before, but just just chill, man. um okay, maybe a better way to word it would probably be like let yourself open up a little bit more. Um there's no real way around it. Obviously, she was in sort of life or death constantly before, but that's not the case anymore. And the only way to move forward is by opening up a little more. So just chill, you know?
That is succinct and very astute. So it's that time again to move over to our other special guest, Liv, played by Tiffany. Hi, Liv.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm alive, I am well, and that's all that matters.
Okay. So, having heard some of your story, I am wondering, having been suddenly thrust out of what you knew and into kind of a crazy situation, uh, what got you to keep adventuring or keep going after finally making it out of Optimus?
Things are different up here. They're kind of weird. They're people are very nice for no reason, and I have to keep going. There's no way around it because they will catch up one day.
And how do you feel then about the new places that you're experiencing? Are you overwhelmed, in awe, some kind of melting pot of God knows what emotions?
Well, some places are nice. The beach was nice, sand is nice, but some people are very strange, like golly gee willikers. And I don't know how to feel about that. Overall, much better. Much better. I think Everyone seems to be having a good time here.
Speaking of everyone, how do you feel about the other members of this group that you have become a part of?
Um, well, I think that Vox is very responsible, and I really trust them with at least the most basic things. That is to say, food and a place to lay my head down, and maybe the directions. And Pastiche, I think Pastiche understands the world the best. I think Pastiche and I really know how the world works, and everyone else just doesn't really understand. And so I appreciate that about Pastiche, though they keep their secrets very close to their heart, and I don't know if that's a good thing. And Luce is very nice. Seems to be going through a horror movie, but it's okay. He's nice.
What keeps you with them? You could just leave. You could go find some place to hide from, where you came from. Why are you staying with these people?
This is the first bit of human kindness I have seen from non human people. I feel obligated and maybe a little bit attached.
Attached. Okay. So, feeling attached to these people, then creating bonds, who do you think or who would you say you have the closest bond with? And why do you find yourself drawn to them in particular?
I think that Pastiche wants me to say pastiche, but it's not pastiche. It's loose. Sorry. Um, Luce has been the kindest person that I've seen, and I think he suffers because of it. And someone needs to kill his enemies for him, so I want to do that.
Hell yeah. In your own words, what are your feelings toward the organization that persecuted you and to some regard is still persecuting you?
Oh, there's nothing I can do about that. The only thing to do is to run.
What would you tell them then if you knew that they would listen to you?
Stop, die, end the whole thing, stop? What else is there to say? They don't listen to reason. They don't. there's 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 nothing you could say really that they should do beyond stop everything.
What is your biggest motivator in your words? What is in your mind that drives you the most?
If I tell you this, you can't tell anyone else.
I pinky promise.
I don't want them to know, but it's gratitude. Um, Gratitude towards everyone in the party. Vox, Pastiche, Loose. Don't tell them. Don't say anything.
I won't personally say anything, but I cannot keep them from listening to this episode.
Uh-oh.
What is your proudest moment so far?
I could have run away. I could have left the team behind, and I didn't. And I think that makes me very proud.
I really respect that as someone who is a little bit of a scaredy cat myself. Not that you're a scaredy cat, but so as someone who, has had opportunities to run and sometimes has and sometimes hasn't, I I'm proud of you as well for sticking around.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes in the future, though. Who knows? Maybe there are a few backstabbers here. I don't know.
It sounds like you have limited faith in the future. Is that something that you were instilled with back in Optimus, back from your past, or is that a personal belief that you just always had?
Hard to separate the two. I mean,
Fair.
historically, it's not been a good idea to keep people around for too long, but I think the team so far has been pretty good. Again, don't tell them I said that. Don't tell them I said that.
Like I said, I won't tell them. If you could change anything at all and have it stick, what would it be? It can be, big or small, now, then, here, there, anything.
I would want my very own castle in the mountains where I'm separated from everyone else and I have everything I could possibly want. That's what I want to change.
Does everything you could possibly want include your new friends?
Maybe.
Okay. Okay. We're going to do some rapid fire questions now. Favorite color?
Um, red.
Favorite animal?
Cows because they have a lot of meat on them.
Valid. Uh, Pet peeve of yours?
People who keep secrets to themselves for too long. Dishonesty, really.
What's a power you wish you had?
Invincibility. Give it to me now.
You know what? Appropriate, because would you rather fight one horse sized duck or 100 duck sized horses?
Ooh, one horse-sized duck because you would have no blind spots and you could take it down easily
Nice.
as long as you roll high enough.
I imagine it also provides many meals.
Yeah, there's less butchering for you to do.
Fair. Lastly, and this one might require a little more thinking. What advice would you give your player?
Give me more money, give me more items, give me more stuff. I want more stuff. We pass by all the branches in the forests, but you never pick any up. And you never pick up any rocks. You never pick up any anything that's on the ground. I need more stuff.
Stuff is good. I like stuff.
Cuz then we can trade it to that possum in a hat.
Ah, yes. I have heard of such a possum. What are your feelings on the possum? I'm curious.
It's a shopkeeper like any other, probably unscammable, but it takes garbage. That's very useful.
All right. And with that, we say goodbye to Liv, and thank you so much to her.
You were kidding about posting this, right?
Think of it as an opportunity to leave your comfort zone a little and see what that situation might bring.
Okay, we'll see about that.
Well, it's time to say goodbye now. So thank you so much, Liv.
Yeah, yeah, oh gosh, I said so many things. Okay, bye.
And welcome back, Tiffany. And I want to say thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you for letting us know about it.
Uh, I'm my pleasure. Absolutely. I'm so excited. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for being here as well with us. The links to Stories Told Again and all of the socials and everything will be in the episode description. Um, is there anything else you want to talk about, Tiffany?
Nope. Stories told again. It's a pretty fun podcast, so I would recommend people check it out. Yeah.
Awesome. If you want to support professional questers, you can donate through Ko-Fi. A single donation gets you access to all of the very good bonus content and rewards, including bloopers, extra interviews, and character art done by yours truly. You can also follow us on Instagram and Threads and join our Discord community. And have a wonderful day, everyone. And I hope your adventures are always good ones. Bye.
Bye.